Now let's treat L3, L4 with a local traction. In this case, on the right side. As we suggested before, we'll be using right rotation to separate those segments, articular surfaces. Prior to doing that, we need to preposition the patient. Let's first preposition the segments caudal to the one we're treating. So in this case, we're going to put L4-5 and L5-S1 in a position that's least painful. In other words, extension. I'll place my middle finger in the interspinous space of L3, L4, my index finger in L4, L5. I'll put the legs together, and by adding a little bit of axial load to the femurs through the knees, I'll load and then extend the hips, taking those segments into extension, avoiding extension at L3, L4, where I'm treating. Next, I want to flex the L2, L3 segments and above. So now my caudal hand, middle finger will be in the L3, L4 interspinous space, and my index finger in the L2-3 interspinous space. I'll reach under the patient's neck, grasp the shoulder, and now curl the shoulders down towards her hips to open the spinous processes of L2-3 while leaving L3, L4 in a neutral position. Once again, we're going to maintain a right side bent position in extension for L4-5 and L5-S1 because once rotating to her rotating to her right, we're going to lock those segments with right rotation on top, superimposed on top of right side bending in extension. We flexed L2-3 and up. We now, in flexion, once using right rotation, need a left side bending to lock those segments. So, with my fingers back in, my middle finger back in L3-4, index finger in L2-3, I'm going to reach underneath, and in order to maintain the flexion while I rotate her, see if I just rotated her back, she'll lose the flexion and extend back. So in order to maintain that flexion, I'll reach underneath, pull her in the direction of flexion, and again in the direction of right rotation. And now L2-3 and up, she is flexed, she's left side bent and right rotated, and that's perfect because that's the direction of locking that we want for those segments. Now her L3-4 is poised, it's ready for the traction mobilization, as is L5-S1 and L4-L5. So, in order to ensure the right side bending that I want at L4-5 and L5-S1, I'll simply take my humerus and place it along my elbow on the ischial tuberosity and inferior glute region. I will take my stabilizing hand, place it on the mat side of the patient's L4. My mobilizing hand, coursing it through her arm in this fashion, its thumb will rest on the sky side of L3 with my forearm near her axilla. And now, as I earlier suggested, I'm going to use right rotation for the mobilization. With my thumb on the sky side of L3, my thumb and my forearm are going to create a force in a dorsal, medial, and cranial direction to ensure that rotation. And now, at the same time, I'm using my other arm to maintain the side bending of the L4-5 and L5-S1. So, in so doing, I'm going to create that local traction that I'm looking for at L3, L4. I can oscillate and Do it for several minutes, and then hold for 30 to 40 seconds in that local traction direction. Once the 30 to 40 seconds have surpassed, I can let off and then repeat that hold for 30 to 40 seconds up to 5 or 7 reps, maintaining the side bending here and inspiring the rotation through my cranial arm. Once I'm done, I will follow the local traction technique with flexion gliding at L3, L4. Repeat the same treatments of traction and flexion gliding on the opposite side with her side lying on the opposite side to maximize the flexion mobility of L3, L4 segment.